expanding your global reach with WhatsApp within Mongoose. We're going to go ahead and kick off. I'm Dylan Carricker over in customer marketing. I've got Jeff Campisi over here in product manager for WhatsApp. So we'll go ahead and kick everything off. Jeff, you ready to start sharing your screen?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, great.
All right. Hit that button, fire it up. And we'll move past our mugs here. So yeah, today we're gonna talk about our integration with WhatsApp. So we're gonna go through why WhatsApp matters for higher ed, some recent releases. We'll give you a little bit of demo, show you how to do some of the best practices that we have, and maybe kind of talk you off the ledge for some of the things you might have heard about how difficult WhatsApp is, and then hear about a use case, and we'll open up the Q&A as always at the end of the show for you. Any questions that you have, go ahead and throw them in. Jake can always interrupt me or answer for them, depending on how we're doing that. So anybody who uses Mongoose already probably had some of these issues domestically. So you had trouble reaching potential students. Maybe you couldn't engage your alumni easy enough. And we introduced Mongoose Text, and we kind of solved a lot of that for you. What we heard from a lot of people is, I want to be able to do this internationally. I want to text internationally, and I want to text my potential students internationally. Well, texting doesn't necessarily work across borders like that. We rely a lot on SMS and MMS here. It doesn't work across the borders with other countries. Sometimes we can send a message, sometimes you can receive a message, but rarely is it allowed back and forth with the technology that exists. So meeting people in the app that they prefer, that's where we kind of ended up with WhatsApp. So you might have not used it here in the States. It is not popular in the United States. We're actually considered a relatively small user base here, but it is the most popular message app in over 100 different countries. So 2 billion plus users the last time we pulled that information, 180 different countries. I did a quick Google search and said over 100 countries, this is the communication method that people prefer. It is not texting like we use here in the States. So for them, it's a trusted and familiar communication channel. They're already messaging businesses in WhatsApp. They expect that type of message. And if they receive the consent, they're expecting your message to come through just like everybody else's. And then just like we show the open rates and the reply rates for text messages, there's a 98% open rate for WhatsApp messages. We actually show read receipts in there. We'll show you that a little bit later. And then 90% of WhatsApp messages are open within those 3 minutes. So we're seeing almost better than texting metrics in WhatsApp. And again, it's international, where something we can't do with the texting crowd. Some of the key capabilities we have here with our integration is image support. We didn't want to take that away. We see a lot of people using MMS. You can send a message just the same way. We're able to use those read receipts, so you can see which messages are read, which is something we cannot offer with just basic SMS. So we found a lot of people really like to see that. You can then filter by the who read them and send a different message to those to kind of continue the engagement. Again, it's a reliable international reach, something we don't have with SMS, and it's the two-way real-time engagement. With that being said, these are some of the features that we had. I think really the important part to know is that this is ongoing. You'll see we had a bunch of releases, and we'll show you what it looks like today. We'll be able to do some contact imports. You still have your segmentability. And then we are building out the integrations. Right now, we have the manual upload, the FTP, and we have a bunch of the higher ones coming relatively soon, hopefully this year and early next year, so that you can continue to use what you're using in text, but in WhatsApp. And with that, I will switch my screen over to the demo, and we'll see really the more exciting part of this. So I'm going to stop sharing, and let's get to the demo. All right. So if you are already a client of ours, you recognize this page. This is the dashboard. This is my dashboard, what it happens to look like in my international team. You'll see that everything on the side kind of looks the same, except today we have WhatsApp templates and we have a WhatsApp inbox. The WhatsApp inbox lives right alongside of all your other inboxes. So you'll notice here that I have my individual message box with my personal texting number. I have my admissions texting, which is my SMS number that you're typically used to. Open that up, it looks the same. And then I have my WhatsApp inbox. It does say WhatsApp up there, but everything else kind of looks the same. And I think the most important thing that you can do first is you can reply to your client. So in this case, we have an existing one here. This potential student said, hey, can you help me understand this international form? Like, I don't know what I'm doing to get into the United States. And you can kind of help them and you can send that message over. So we have a canned one here about the I-94 form. And you see that they kind of send that on its way, and it is real time. It'll pop there up in a second. I think some of these questions, people are navigating something they've never done before. You're able to be the expert and kind of guide them along and get them to the right place and kind of increase the confidence they have in coming to your institution as somebody who can help them reach their goals. Keep in mind, there's this timer down here. So it says, I have 2 hours and 16 minutes left in the reply window. We work with the WhatsApp Business API, which sets a 24-hour threshold to send a reply to those individuals. Anybody who fully integrates with WhatsApp as a third party is determined to follow this 24-hour rule. This is Meta terms and conditions. Meta being Facebook's parent company, they're the owners of WhatsApp. They set this rule. That is just their form of consent. So they want to make sure that you are following their consent, which is this individual consented to hear from you about this specific question, and you have 24 hours to write back. Now, in the case that you don't get back to them in 24 hours, what happens? So we have Courtney here. I saw Courtney in the chat. Courtney had reached out to us, and unfortunately, it was far beyond 24 hours. You could see we didn't get a chance to write to her. This one was not delivered for some reason, but you're able to open up that conversation again, and you're able to kind of say, let me send you a message template to this individual to reopen this conversation. So what we're going to do is we're going to go create a template. We're going to see how fast that is, and we're going to send that on. You'll go into WhatsApp templates. You'll see we already have 18 of them here. You're allowed to have up to 6,000 templates. That seems like an outrageous amount, but plenty of room for you to kind of write what you need to. And you just go in here and you write your template. So again, we have one that's already in my clipboard just to make it a little bit easier. And you're able to fill this out. And we're going to label this 9/18 because that's the date. So in this case, hey, we're sorry you missed your message over the weekend. Thanks for your interest in Mongoose University. Do you still have any questions? And you'll see that I have this little bracketed number 1 here. That is a variable. So what I can do here is I can just say, I'm going to fill it in with a first name. I don't want to have to make a template specific to Courtney. I want to be able to use this across the board to anybody whenever I want to. And then when anyone else uses the template, they'll be able to understand what I'm trying to put in as that as well. I'm going to mark it a utility template. This just says that I'm trying to update a contact about an ongoing conversation, and we're going to submit that through. Now, what this does, this goes over to Meta. They have to pre-approve the templates, and it's relatively quickly. You'll see I'll press submit here. Our system will tell you it takes 20 or 48 hours or less. We've been receiving them back in less than 5 minutes. So you really are not waiting the 48 hours. We are not the ones approving this. This is going to Meta to kind of go through. So we're going to go back over to Courtney in my inbox, and we're going to find her message. We're going to select the template. And in this case, I already got one approved. So I'm going to search for out of office staff. And you'll see that this popped up. So it's a very similar template. In this case, hello, blank, first name. So I'm going to click down. If I click down this arrow, I'm actually going to get all my Mongoose merge fields. So any merge fields you have for this contact, you can go ahead and send that out. If you don't necessarily have merge fields, you can actually just write out the individual name. So in this case, we're going to write out Courtney. You'll see it'll say, hello, Courtney. And we're going to preview that. And it's going to get ready to send. One person, less than 1 minute. We're going to send that now. And then it'll go to Courtney in line with this conversation. You'll see it happen here. Now, just because I sent that message, I cannot reply to her. I would need Courtney to reply in order to open up that reply window. For example, if I go back to that other individual that I sent a message to, I still have the reply window. I can reply because they wrote within the 24 hours. With that, I know a couple of you had scanned the QR codes. Courtney, of course, putting something in there, trying to make me ad-lib here. We're going to leave that unread for now. Some of you have scanned the QR codes, so we saw a couple numbers in here. Other ways that you can add, so now you're added in here as a contact. I can obviously edit you, add your name if I know who you were. In other cases, you can actually go to Compose and you can add a contact on the fly. So I go to Compose. These are my inboxes. WhatsApp is international outreach. And I'm going to send it to a new individual. I happen to get a phone number from a different outreach, and it's not in my system as it says here. So I'm going to press add contact. you'll see here that I'm able to fill in the information. So this is our friend Benny that we met at an event. Here's his information, and we can say WhatsApp messaging, and we can add them, and then we can instantly go ahead and send them a message if we had one. In that case, when you're also in the compose, you can also do segments. So I can go over to segments and I can pick a segment specifically that I wanted to send to them. So in this case, let's say I have an educational USA fair that I attended in Belgium. I'm the international advisor. I went out there for a fair and I met some individuals. And I actually have a segment that's dedicated to that fair. So this segment is everybody who I met there based on a custom field. In that case, then I can find my template that I'm going to pick. So this is a general outreach one that I have based on an event. And it's like, hi, I'm from the admissions team at Mongoose University. We were so excited that we met you at this specific event. So in that case, you're able to kind of pick an event. You can fill it in there completely, and you don't have to have a separate template for every event that you go to. We can preview it. And in this case, this is going to my 17 individuals that I met at that fair. They're all going to get that message at once. Now, I'm not going to send this because a lot of people are going to get messages that they're not expecting, but you can kind of see how that goes through. I'm going to hop back over to templates. It hasn't fully been, I think, 5 minutes since we sent that, but you'll see my utility template with today's date has already been approved. I'm able to go ahead and use that already, and I don't have to wait the 48 hours. So a lot of people will say, hey, I don't want to miss the conversations that are coming in. I don't really love that 24-hour window. That is a meta term and condition that we are just following. So you'll be able to then just make a quick template that satisfies that need, send it along its way. And then if you're done with that template, if you never want to use it again, you can press delete and you can free up those templates for more templates. Other than that, it works just like a shared inbox. I think that's the important part that a lot of people don't understand. If you have any shared inboxes now on text, you'll understand that it is helpful to have more people in there kind of helping along the conversations. So in the case, if we go back to this one here, maybe I don't want to be the sole person responsible for this person's immigration coming in. It would be helpful to have the whole team on board. Let's say I want to take a day off. I want to take a week off. I don't want to have to be continuing to contact these contacts on my personal WhatsApp phone while on that vacation. I don't want to hold up their education or their immigration because of something that I'm not able to get to, whether I'm out of service, maybe I'm out of country myself. Everybody in your team would be able to go in here and help you do that. I won't show the import stage, but you are able to go in. You can go into your data management page and you can process that import. The most popular manual one is a file upload, where you just take a CSV or the other supported documents and you can fill those in. You can have just international, you can have international and domestic. You can have people with just texting, just WhatsApp, or both, depending on how your contacts are. And that's regardless of how you store that number. You'll be able to kind of mock up the file how you need to and get that into the system, and you can start texting. Our segments are live with the WhatsApp criteria. So you'll be able to create that segment, send out, and do your bulk outreach, which is also something that your personal WhatsApp cannot do at the moment. You can't send multiple messages at that one time. And with that, I will pause talking for a little bit. That is pretty much the full demo. I know that went fast, but it is pretty similar to texting. And I think it is pretty intuitive to kind of dig into and start. Do we have any questions, Jake?
Jeff, I don't have anything additional that came in, but do you think you could give us a little bit more info on the WhatsApp segments?
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody who uses the text segments already, you'll notice that it is the same interface. If you just go to segments, new segment, you'll be able to kind of peek through and see what's going on. I'm going to open up this Belgium fair one. So I will say we did a little bit of the cooking show magic. This is not an actual fair that we're going to. This is not actually the right criteria to build the segment, but you'll be able to see that we built a segment with anybody who had a first name field. So again, a little bit of cooking show magic, but we wanted to make a segment work. So in this case, you'll be able to see if they're opted in for text or WhatsApp or both based on this column here. So opted in. So this specific Jeff here is text and WhatsApp enabled. We're able to text them on both, and they might be opted in for both, depending on what that is. The difference is this top part up here, you'll see that this segment has 31 total contacts. 30 of them are opted into either channel and 1 contact is opted out. In this case, where we care more about the WhatsApp, there's 19 individuals who are opted in and have a WhatsApp number ready for us to communicate in WhatsApp. And it says 19 are opted in, 0 are opted out. And you'll notice that the 27 and 19 does not add up to 31. This is 27 text people. These are 19 people with WhatsApp. There is some overlap there if you had a Venn diagram, such as Sarah right here, making up the 31 total contacts. Some of the other criteria that you could use is WhatsApp specific. So if you go in here, you could do country code. So if you're looking for a specific country that you want to segment, we can do that. So let's say we wanted to specifically look at Australia. Anybody with the Australian phone number, we'd be able to segment out and build that out. Obviously, that is not based on location. That is based on your country code in your phone number. So there is an event that somebody has a number that has moved or something like that, similar to how area codes work for us. But it might give you a general idea of where they are. Along with that, you have some other opt-in, opt-out fields that we didn't have before, and WhatsApp specific fields that kind of match.
Yeah, great job. Thanks. Yeah, that was definitely one of my favorite parts when I first started poking around with WhatsApp was the parity that we had with text, where it was just so easy to get onboarded with it. When I was doing my original experimentation, I'm like, wow, this looks just like everything that I'm used to on the text side. So there was really no learning curve, right? So I was able to just go in and do everything the way that I'm used to. But we did have a couple more questions that came in when we were talking about segments. Can you recap the benefits of WhatsApp over SMS, please?
Yeah, I think that's great. Exactly what you just said, how it looks very similar to texting and it feels like we're texting on a Mongoose, but we're using WhatsApp instead. The main difference is that WhatsApp is used outside of the United States a heck of a lot more than general text messaging. So you'll be able to reach all those countries that rely on a different form of communication over the SMS. On top of that, WhatsApp is a little bit further along than just the basic SMS messaging. So anybody who reads up on all the telecom technologies, which I'm sure we have a lot of people who do, they know that RCS has recently been approved for the iPhone, and that allows you to do everything that WhatsApp does. So the read receipts, the typing indicators, sending larger documents, and being able to send more things. SMS doesn't allow for that. WhatsApp does. WhatsApp with Mongoose does not have all those features yet. However, we are slowly building that out as we can do that. So we have the read receipts. We'll have some typing indicators. We already have the ability to send pictures a little bit larger than they are in the SMS world, and we'll get to everything else with that. So it is a technology that mirrors where RCS is and some of that other technology. Or if you are an Apple user, the iMessage, similar to iMessage, all the extra stuff you can do in there, you can do with WhatsApp, and we'll be bringing the technology up to that point. Furthering on with the question, Courtney said, can I WhatsApp somebody with a US number? You can absolutely do that. We find that the people with WhatsApp in the US are generally use it for maybe some international communication. And if they choose to consent for you to contact them, you can absolutely WhatsApp somebody with a US number. When you go into your contacts, I'm going to go specifically into my fake one here. You'll see that I am WhatsApp verified and text verified with my domestic phone number. So I consented to both text messaging and WhatsApp under this domestic number. Foreign numbers will kind of look a little bit different. I think we have one under Andrew's cousin because we didn't necessarily know their name. But you can see that they're from the Netherlands with a +31 country code. They're only WhatsApp eligible because we cannot SMS the number from the Netherlands. With that being said, you could message someone with a US number in WhatsApp and text. You can have conversations going in both channels at the same time if that's something they wanted to do. Maybe one team talks to them via SMS and one team talks to them via WhatsApp. That's completely between you and the contact and the consent that you receive from them. And your question, once a segment is created for a group, can you add additional contacts as you receive additional inquiries? So there's a couple different ways to build a segment if you're not familiar with them. We have this dynamic segment builder, which is criteria based. So if you add additional contacts into your contact book, as long as they have the criteria that your segment matches, they will automatically be added to these auto dynamic segments. So whatever that criteria might be, maybe it's a specific admit code, maybe it's a certain custom field that you have on somebody. So going back into these, you can segment based on the custom field. So maybe I'm segmenting based on a country that we have pulled in here. If they meet that criteria, they will automatically be pulled into that. Now, if you're doing the static segments, which is basically an identifier or a number-based segment, so that means you're adding individual contacts, you would have to manually add that person to that static segment in order to add them in there. But either way, of those items, you can absolutely add more people to those segments. You just can't send a message that you sent like a week ago. So you'd have to resend that message to the new individuals. You can't kind of backdate the message to get to them, if that makes sense. Has there been a conversation about scheduling messages if the segment is blank? I'm not entirely sure I know what you mean by that. If you can add some more information just so we can make sure we get the right answer to you. If you try to send to a segment and the segment has 0 people into you, it will let you know that you are not allowed to send that segment. It won't send to anybody. If you schedule it though out in advance, so let's say I have 0 people in there now, I pick a segment and I schedule it for next week. When we send that message next week, we will re-pull that segment and see who's in that segment and send it to the population of that segment at that point in time. So if you're referring to that where, hey, right now my segment is empty, in a week, I know that I'll have individuals there. It'll absolutely send to the people who are in that segment at that point in time. And if that didn't answer your question, please add in there so we can make sure that we get that correctly. Is it possible to create a WhatsApp group with Mongoose? Right now, we do not allow the group message. So the segment, when we send that message to 18 people, those 18 people are getting an individual 1v1 message. That is not a group of 18 people getting that message. Some people call this a broadcast. Some people call it a group message. We do not currently allow for that. I will note that that is something that we're trying to look to figure out how we can do, but we need to kind of build in a little bit more of that ability to kind of kick people out of a group, block people from a group or so on. Because in WhatsApp, in an RCS, there's a way to physically add yourself to groups if someone shares it with you. So there is a chance to kind of get unruly without the extra safeguards in there. So at this point, it is not possible to create that group message within Mongoose.
Jeff, I've got a question. How do people get WhatsApp verified, and what are some best practices to collect WhatsApp numbers?
Yeah, no, those are great questions. Let me start with the second one, because I think that's an easier one to tackle for you. So Meta has consent rules similar to ones that we already have in our best practices. So it is best practice to get some written consent of some sort for them to continue conversations. Now, with that being said, Meta, who again owns WhatsApp, they also said if a contact has reached out to you, so in the case where we go back in that inbox and we saw that 315 number reach out to us first, that is consent for us to communicate with them for that 24 hours. So that is an expiring consent, because obviously, in the message window will close, we won't be able to contact them. Now, the consent that they offer here is they're consenting for us to answer this question. So we are not monitoring what you're sending. We are not monitoring your conversations with them, but the best practice is that you answer the question and you don't necessarily send any extra information to them. Now, if it's legitimate communication that you have approved, whether it's a marketing template or utility template, you can absolutely send those. Meta is approving those templates and kind of giving you consent to send those. The other way consent works is if you send that template out to somebody and if they don't reply. So in the case with Courtney's, if she didn't reply and that window was still closed, I don't have consent to continue to send messages until she answers. That will result in possibly your contact flagging you. So a flagging, if you're familiar with on your phone, you can kind of flag and report a sender for spam messages in the WhatsApp app. Your contacts can absolutely flag you as well. So in this case, they can flag my specific template and say this template is not appropriate, or they can flag me as a contact fully. If they flag your template too many times, your template will become disabled. We don't have any of those templates in that state to show you. but that just means that your template is on pause. You can't send that for 24 hours. It'll reopen up and then you can attempt again. Again, we don't have anything to show you. We haven't been flagged. If they flag your contact too much, they'll actually start to throttle how many messages you can send out. So right now, everybody out the gate has 80 messages per second for WhatsApp. They actually allow a lot more throughput than what the SMS does typically. With that being said, you can send a total of 500 outgoing messages for the first week. Once you reach past that goal, once you have active conversations with at least 250 of those people, then that threshold opens up to 10,000. After 10,000, it opens up to unlimited. So they do throttle you a little bit. Now, another way to get that to move up the chain is to become what Dylan was asking is the WhatsApp verified. So there's a couple different verification methods. I'm going to talk about 3. 2 of them are free. One of them is a paid program. The first one is just to have your Meta business portfolio verified. So if you have any Facebook pages, Instagram pages, any existing WhatsApp accounts that you might have with your business, or any ad accounts. So if you're advertising on any of the Meta platform, all of those live within what's called a business portfolio on the Meta website. So you actually log into Facebook with your personal name, log into your business, and you'll have a bunch of business settings. If that's verified, that's half the battle. Any business, it's pretty easy to get verified. You just have to put in a correct website. So if you're in edu.edu is the best way to do it. And sometimes you have to provide like a tax ID or proof showing like Google Maps or something like that to kind of get through. That'll allow you to kind of have a business portfolio in WhatsApp where your name pops up as opposed to your phone number. So those of you who are messaging us, you'll notice that it's just what I call a random 716 number. You think it's Mongoose, but you might not necessarily be sure. Obviously, you can see I responded back to you. We know it's Mongoose. If you're verified, which Dylan was asking, you'll be able to brand that with your specific name. So we'd be able to say Mongoose University, and we'd be able to change the logo to our paw print or a mascot or however you want to brand that. The second way to get verified is to have your WhatsApp specifically verified. That verification status mirrors that business solution verification. So if your Meta is verified, your WhatsApp is verified. Now there's one further way to get verified. You can verify a specific number to get that blue check that you see on social media. So specifically, if you're on Instagram and you go to a celebrity's website, you'll see that they had that blue check after their name, proving that they're the real celebrity of that. That is a paid service that Meta offers you. I don't know the cost. You do not need that to use WhatsApp or to use the integration. If that's something that you're concerned about, you can absolutely apply for that through them. And all that does is that helps some legal actions to take down profiles that are acting as you. Again, that's a paid service. You don't need that with us, but if you do those other verifications, it's helpful because you can brand a little bit better. And then you could have more than 2 WhatsApp numbers. Without being verified, you're limited to those 2 phone numbers.
Gotcha. Another question. Can you automate like reminders, follow-ups, things like that the same way you can do with text in Mongoose?
You can schedule messages in a little bit. We don't have that option yet, but you're able to kind of send those types of messages one-off. So we don't have the automation that we have built into a text message yet. So if we go into the text box, the auto reply or the out of office that you might be referring to, we don't have that in WhatsApp yet. The idea is the templates are significantly better than what we can offer. So one of the questions we get when we're talking to some clients is, can I do a smart message? Because I really love the smart messages. Can I do that in WhatsApp? Right now you can't, but the templates, we just don't have it completely built out yet. The templates will allow you to kind of have link tracking. You'll be able to kind of do a carousel where you send a whole bunch of documents and they can view them all in the app. You can send video. You can do all this stuff with a template that's significantly better than what we can do with SMS. We just have to build out those templates. So over the next month, year, we're obviously going to get caught up to that automation. We're going to get to that scheduled messages. We're going to get to those fancy templates and kind of build it out to be what WhatsApp has its full potential.
And then permission to send somebody a WhatsApp. Kelsey's question.
Yeah, I think that's really back to the consent. So if you have consent to send a message to them, the WhatsApp terms and conditions don't necessarily say you need specific WhatsApp consent. You just need consent. So if you receive consent on the tech side, your institution can map that over to WhatsApp if they want to. just make sure the verbiage in that consent is specific about contacting and not texting or emailing. You can leave it open to kind of a general, you allow us to communicate with you through whichever channel we deem. With that being said, once you send a message, with texting, what we can do is we can verify if it's a mobile phone number. And I think everyone recognizes that when you go through, you're able to know if it's a good mobile number. We can't necessarily attach it to somebody specifically, but we'll be able to know if it's a mobile number. And that's what we show by text verified. We show WhatsApp verified, which means this individual received a WhatsApp message and we know it's a good WhatsApp number. Now, if we go back and we look back at that individual that's labeled Andrew's cousin, you'll see that they're unverified. That means that we were not able to send a message. So we don't know if it's a good WhatsApp contact. That does not mean you're not allowed to send them. It's just kind of letting you know that, hey, the message might not go through. Maybe check back to make sure that they're getting messages, make sure you have the right phone number, make sure it's the right individual. But you can absolutely try to send this person a message and see if it's a good WhatsApp number. So to answer Kelsey specific, how do you get permission to send somebody? It's just your general consent rules. Make sure you're talking to them in some form, get consent. If you use Mongoose chat, you can add a little section in there where you get their phone number, their WhatsApp number, and a consented text. You can use the QR code where it opens up their app and sends that first message, or preempts that first message. Or you can do an online form or any other way that you necessarily publicize your text message. They can absolutely message you first. That was the purpose of the QR code. You don't have to be the first one messaging. So if you publish your WhatsApp number on your website, you can say WhatsApp us at this or message us on WhatsApp at this. I'm not sure what the actual verb is, so I use WhatsApp as a verb. Somebody can correct me in the chat what the real verb is for sending a WhatsApp message. So Ann, I love this question. After you enter a contact with general information such as the name, contact, et cetera, can you go back into contact and add additional fields in that information? This is an internal battle that I am fighting. So please write your CSM and let them know that you want that ability to edit a contact. My manager is going to hate that I'm soliciting feedback for that. I think we should be able to do that. Right now, you cannot. The only way you would be able to do that is to do a manual import to correct that information for that contact. So again, you would go back down into the import, the data management, and you'd be able to do a new import and you can throw everything in there for those extra fields. Honestly, the import is rather quick. Any integration that you have. So if I open this up, you'll notice that I also have the Razor's Edge NXT integration. You can have WhatsApp on top of the integrations. And on our product roadmap is to make sure that WhatsApp works directly with all of these integrations. In the meantime, you would need to do the data management manual import to fix those fields. Now, your second question about Slate, inside knowledge that I do not want to put a date on, but the first couple that we are looking at would be Slate, Salesforce, and Recruit in the roadmap. I do not have a timeline for you, but if you have Slate, you can absolutely use the manual upload to supplement that Slate import. And then when we get to Slate, you'll be able to map the WhatsApp field and just continue to hit the ground running with that Slate integration. Can the WhatsApp number be the same as a shared inbox number? So I'm going to give you a half answer. My WhatsApp inbox is a shared inbox. So I can go down here and I can edit my WhatsApp number, and I can go in here and I can add anybody I want into that to make it a shared inbox. Now, the other answer is it cannot be the same number as your texting shared inbox. So I believe that's what you're really asking. Can we make it the same as that? Unfortunately, at this point, our partner did not allow that type of linking, but it is a shared inbox. So it would just be a different shared inbox. But yeah, anything else? I know we're going through this fast, but I feel like a lot of the demo, to Jake's point, is it's very similar to texting. So it's hard to kind of make up more meat to show you when you're already familiar with the texting platform and it already feels like it fits in. When will we be able to use the WhatsApp business app for this? That is a question that I have asked Meta and the folks at WhatsApp. So there's technically 3 different versions of WhatsApp. There's a WhatsApp personal, which is something you might have on your phone now that you're messaging with individuals. There's a WhatsApp business, which is just a business entity using WhatsApp. And then there's the business API, which allows for third parties to kind of build out something like Mongoose to tie in additional items. So the WhatsApp business app relies on a WhatsApp business number. Now, there's a limit to how many people you can have in those inboxes. That is usually on a personal device. I think you can have it on a laptop, but the interface is a little bit different. What you don't get with that is kind of the shared inbox and the reporting that's going to come with the Mongoose platform. Now, with that being said, if we could get Mongoose WhatsApp in our mobile app, I think that would take away the need for the WhatsApp business app. That is also in the timeline of things. I don't have a date, but happy to say that the mobile app is being worked on. It's going to get an overhaul. It'll include a heck of a lot more than it has in today. We're getting all the extra roadmap secrets that you normally don't get on these calls, but that would be coming down the line. Yeah, Kelsey, do we have best practices? Jake, I'll let you handle that one because I think you have some information on that.
Yeah, we do. So we are currently in the works of coming up with best practices and best use cases. So we will definitely be sending that out and making sure that the client team is able to follow up with all of our WhatsApp users once that is released. I would estimate that we'll have that out to everybody within the next 2 to 3 weeks. So please keep an eye out for that. But that will just give you an easy walkthrough of how to set up your messages, the typical topics that you would want to cover, and just overall use cases that you would want to use on a day-to-day basis. So that is in the works. Don't worry, we will have that over soon. Just please keep an eye out for it. But yeah, that's a great question.
Yeah, and piggybacking off of that, I think with the best practices, something that I really like are the case studies that come out. And then I think it was you, Jake, that shared one today with one of our clients who started, yep, there it is in the speak, and it should come up. So Thomas Moore is using WhatsApp, and they're significantly getting more RSVPs and everything. And I personally liked it because they're using their athletics to kind of recruit. So in this case specifically, they're recruiting for, I think, their rugby team, and they're getting some more individuals, which I love that use case. I love that idea of being able to kind of offer some international folks a chance to play sports domestically.
All right, you want to go to the next slide here?
Yeah. Let me stop sharing the product, and we can always go back if we need to. But then we'll pull up the next slide. All right. As I'll touch on the feature, then I'll hop back to the slide you were talking, Dylan. This has been an ongoing roadmap. For those who have been from the beginning, we obviously appreciate your patience as we sorted through all of this. I think it's important to know that as you look at people who might also be offering WhatsApp, that 24-hour window that you see was in March. That is, again, a meta restriction about replying within the 24-hour window. We've seen a lot of people kind of stop at that, though. They don't offer that outreach. They don't offer the bulk outreach or the segments and everything. So everything that you have in today for Mongoose text, we would like to match in our WhatsApp offering. And that's the same with the reporting and everything else. So the dashboard right now is only reflective of text. It'll have WhatsApp and chat in the coming months, hopefully. All right, Dylan.
I think this one's still you. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No. Either one. So similar to the case study, what can we do? What Mongoose WhatsApp or WhatsApp for Mongoose? The messaging hasn't changed. You're still able to do everything you can do on the SMS side. It's now just kind of the international global reach. So now instead of just growing your reach, you're growing your global reach. You can instantly connect with those international audiences on an app they already use to the person who said domestically as well. So if they want to continue using WhatsApp domestically, that's fine. Maybe they care for the encryption. Maybe they just don't even have an active cell phone plan. They're just using WhatsApp. That's something they can do. Meeting audiences where they are. The WhatsApp is the trusted app in a lot of these countries. If you sit on any of the WhatsApp calls with Meta, people are already talking to businesses in WhatsApp. That is the preferred channel. That is the app that allows them to do everything. They can track orders. They can follow up on transaction numbers, received PIN transactions or whatever else. And now we're bringing your institution into WhatsApp with them and having that conversation where they're already getting all their important information. The competitive edge, cut through that email noise with messaging. Some clients have said that email really isn't even working internationally. Like they're not getting that information. Maybe it's blocked. Maybe communication is being blocked from them, but WhatsApp, it gets through those borders because it is encrypted. It goes directly to them. They're able to see more messages via WhatsApp, and it's more live. It's more real time. They're in WhatsApp talking to their friends. They can talk to you as opposed to trying to check an email and maybe getting lost in some of their spam and everything. Generating more leads, whether it's the QR code, publishing your phone number, or just getting people in through Mongoose chat. Eliminate the unclear point of contacts, capture that info faster, more reliably, upload it in there, get it on them segment, and kind of go from there. And then support the international engagement. Stay connected with personalized, empathetic outreach. I think one more thing I wanted to say is we were talking to an individual who signed up for WhatsApp. They have a very large international student base. And what they use WhatsApp for is just to get a hold of their international students after a break to get their current SMS number. So their students use the temporary SIM cards when they come in. So they're still sending most of the communication through SMS, but they need WhatsApp to update the information to get that SMS number. So it's kind of a unique use case, but it's able to make sure they stay connected over SMS. So kind of WhatsApp feeding their SMS channel. Kind of interesting. All right.
Cool. All right. That's about all that we had. I did want to go ahead and put up a quick poll to see if anybody's interested in adding WhatsApp. So, I mean, before we wrap, I wanted to share kind of something that really kind of stuck with me from the Thomas More case study. And I was talking to him literally 2 days ago, and he said it literally costs 1/5 of the revenue that they receive from a traditional student. So WhatsApp pays for itself if you enroll even just one international student with it. And obviously they're doing more than that. And I love that because it's so simple, right? If WhatsApp helps bring in even one more student, especially an international student, then it more than kind of makes up for that. So as this poll is up here, just kind of think about whether you'd like to explore that kind of impact at your institution. And, you know, if yes, if you're ready to chat, maybe if you'd like more info, or no, not right now, if it's not a fit. But there's just so much that Thomas More was like doing with WhatsApp. They were going kind of above and beyond just helping students enroll. It was then for like F1 students, they're, you know, working on form I-94s, their I-20s for work authorization, things like that. Really kind of post enrollment, like we're talking student success alumni at this point, that they're really kind of helping out and still utilizing WhatsApp to really kind of help push that for their students. So I'm going to leave that up for just a couple more. But otherwise, did anybody have any other questions? Anything else we can help you out with? Looks like everything is pretty much answered.
Nope, we just had one last one come in. Is there an additional cost to add WhatsApp?
That's a Jeff question.
Yeah. I'm going to throw that over to the Rev team. So I know in the contracts, talk to them and then see what that is. If you are on the credits, and it is based on credits as well. So I will throw that over to the Rev team. Reach out to your CSM. It's worth a conversation. I think more importantly, you think about the return on it, or what it could be. Thomas More has seen that return. That other institution I was referring to, just using it to get the updated number was worth it enough to them to continue the conversation with these international students, and then exponentially grew their international population there.
Thanks, Jeff.
All right. I think that's about it. If nobody has any last minute questions,
Yeah,
they want to
I don't
comment?
see anything else in here, Dylan. I think we've answered everything. Yeah.
Awesome. Very comprehensive. Jeff, thanks for the time. Jake,
Thank
thanks
you.
for
Yeah.
fielding. And we'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks so much, folks.